BBC Radio Shropshire. Good afternoon, I'm Andy Martineau, and do you remember when The X Factor was the show to watch on a Saturday night? Let me take you back to the final of 2009.
The winner of The X Factor 2009 is...
Joe McElderry, one of that year, of course, beating Ollie Murs in the final. He went on to have a #1 single, had big roles in musical theatre, and now he's back with some new music. And I caught up with Joe to talk about how the pandemic has affected the entertainment industry as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy time, and it's obviously, it's uncertain. We can't kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel yet, but I've been quite lucky, which I am thankful for, and I'm trying not to complain too much because I've realised that I am in a fortunate position that I have been able to take kind of my audience online and do a load of online shows, and obviously recording from home via Zoom and writing, obviously, hence releasing the new single this week. So it's, although it's been restricted, I do feel I've still been able to be a bit creative, but it's just difficult because so much of my job, and the industry and musical theatre and pop concerts and all of that, it's all about that face-to-face interaction with audiences and hearing them clap and hearing them sing along. So we all miss and yearn for that, and hopefully we're on the right track to getting back to it soon. But it's been a really odd time.
And can you remember the last time you were on stage or as part of an audience?
Well, I was lucky enough to do some socially distant shows in the summer, outdoors, which again were obviously really different and quite strict and under very strange circumstances. But again, I was very fortunate. But the last time in a full capacity was it was the night before we went into lockdown, because I think we all thought here, I don't know about you guys, but we kind of thought it wasn't going to come to the UK and it wasn't going to be a thing here. And there was this kind of wishy-washy thing at the beginning of like, are we not, or And I was in London doing a solo concert at Cadogan Hall, and I remember halfway through the show, I think it was after Boris had made his announcement, and it just went like, it was just chaos in the theatre in terms of like backstage, them putting like safety measures in and being like, nobody's to go out the stage door, everybody who's not supposed to be backstage. It was amazing to see how quickly it changed. And then I was due to be in the studio the next day, and obviously I thought, you know what, I think I better get the train back to Newcastle and just kind of hunker down for a bit.
Yeah. But
little did I know it would be this long.
Yeah, exactly. And we still don't know, when it's all going to get back to normal. Has the time allowed you just to sort of reset in a way? I'm thinking of an example like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift used this time to sort of pen an album, or 2 albums that, she dropped, because she just had the time to put things together, and suddenly, she dropped a very successful album. As a musician, has it given you time just to think about your music and write a few songs and think about where you want to be as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, well, I've wrote about 15 to 20 songs across both lockdowns, and obviously Baby Had Your Fun, the new single, which was released, was kind of half written just before lockdown, and then we completed it all in over Zoom, via WhatsApp calls, messengers, all of that kind of thing, and then was able to get into the studio. So it has allowed us to kind of spend a bit more time creatively doing things more behind the scenes, because normally, as I'm sure, like using Taylor Swift as an example, you're on a kind of cycle all the time of finishing one project and then getting turned around to start the next thing, and you know where you're going to be every kind of 6 months ahead of another 6 months. So to kind of not have that, you have a lot more space thinking time, you have a lot more time to plan things. So yeah, I mean, I've got way more than an album's worth of material. Some of it's recorded, some of it isn't, and it's a case of getting it all together. But it's been nice in some senses to kind of stop and realise what's really important, and other things. Obviously, it's awful in terms of we wish none of this had have happened. But yeah, it's been a thought-provoking time, shall we say?
Now, of course, you came to prominence during the X Factor, certainly in its heyday on a Saturday night. We've got this new singing programme now on a Saturday night that's very successful, The Masked Singer. Have you been watching it?
I've seen bits of it, yeah, actually. We did it. I did a Zoom call with some friends the other night, and we watched it the other night to try and guess who everybody was. I think people were thinking that I was one of the people on there, and I'm definitely not.
Who did they think you were? Which character?
To be honest with you, I think it changes every week. I always get tagged in like about four like 4 or 5 different tweets of somebody thinking I'm one person and I'm thinking the other. And I'm always like, that sounds nothing like me. But it's funny. It's funny what people's ears hear, because I always find it interesting. And I actually tweeted the other night, I said, it's so funny watching people guess who everybody is.
See, Joe McElderry still could be Badger. Badger's still in it. You never know. More from Joe McElderry in just a few moments here on BBC Radio Shropshire. First, hope you are having a nice Sunday afternoon. Back talking with Joe McElderry, of course, winner of the X Factor in 2009. Went on to do some brilliant things in musical theatre. He's got a new single out. You hear that in a moment. I asked Joe about what he's been doing throughout the lockdowns we've had over the past 10 months, apart from writing those new songs.
I've been doing kind of a bit of fitness, bit of running. I really got into running for a bit. I was doing quite a few 10Ks a week, and then I realised that that's probably not too good for your legs, so I had to rest that up for a bit. Yeah, just the usual TV. I've been lucky, obviously, like I said before, I've been doing loads of online shows. We've just announced another 10 to 15 shows that are going all the way through February and March. We do them every Friday and Saturday night, online shows. So my house has turned into a kind of mini theatre, shall we say. I've got glitter curtains, disco lights, mixing desks, everything. So that's been nice to do that, because whilst, it's not the same as doing a normal show, it's just something nice to kind of be able to do and obviously still get to perform, and see people on the screen and be a part of a little community online as well. Yeah,
and I guess that gives your fans a bit of intimacy, even though it's, through the lens of a laptop. They must feel a bit closer to you, and you must feel closer to them when you're doing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely, on tour I have 4 band members, I'll have like a full stage of lighting and, special effects and costumes and everything. So you strip that back, I'm literally in my living room with a microphone, a pair of headphones and a cheap Amazon glitter curtain. It strips it down, and it makes it kind of raw and intimate and different, and I think people enjoy seeing things that they've never seen before. And, it sometimes goes wrong, which is even part of the kind of fun of dealing with technology. But, it's been lovely, actually. And, I announced a few at the beginning, kind of thinking I would probably do 4 or 5 and that would be it. And people have just gone crazy for them, and they keep coming back to join the shows. And so we've been doing them. We've been doing cocktail making, cooking, singing, game shows, quiz nights. It's turned into a mini TV studio.
Right, bit of cooking. Are you a good cook? Do you like a bit of time in the kitchen?
I'm a terrible cook, which is why it's even more worth joining, just to see me, well, not burn my house down, but almost.
Yeah, be careful on that one. But, well, with cocktails, I get anything could happen, couldn't it? So, the new single, Baby Had Your Fun. Tell me about this. It's a great single. It's had lots of response, and tell me the inspiration behind it.
Well, I am, like I said before, just writing and recording and kind of doing. I planned anyways that I was going to work on an album last year, and then it kind of all went a bit crazy. But I just decided, I turned 30 this year, and I've been doing this nearly 12 years now, and I was just like, I want to go in the studio and just make music that I've always wanted to do. And one of those kind of songs that I wanted to do was a kind of big, up-tempo, fun, like happy breakup song, like an empowering breakup song. I've done the breakup ballad, and I was like, I want to give something that people could dance to and a bit of a kind of empowering anthem. So we went in there, and I'm massively inspired by, country music and country crossover pop and things like that. So we took from my inspirations and like elements of that with the kind of steel guitars and mixed it with the 80s synth and just brought this kind of country-esque feel that meets a kind of 80s disco. And on paper, it sounds like, how is that going to work? But it's just this ball of energy, and it's been so lovely to see the response, because people seem to be really loving it.
Yeah, and that kind of disco vibe has been huge, hasn't it, this year? If you think about Dua Lipa's album, and Sophie Ellis Bextor doing her stuff online, and Kylie, obviously. I mean, there's a real hunger, isn't there, for feel-good 80s kind of synthy music, and you've got it bang on target there.
Yeah, well, I think music comes round in cycles, and I think, that era of music was such a kind of forward-thinking era. If you listen to a lot of 80s tracks, and certainly the kind of disco era as well, those tracks were so ahead of their time. They still stand up against songs now, which is, nearly 30, well, more than 30 years later. Yeah, and I'm listening to all that music still now. So when I'm in the studio and I'm kind of listening and getting inspiration and ideas and things, I pull on all of those references and And obviously we kind of add different touches to make it my own. But yeah, it's great that we can kind of mix that with country as well. And I think there's something about the guitars in the track mixed with that heavy kind of drum beat and synth. It just bounces along. It's like a juggernaut of sound.
It really is, and it's a great single. We're going to play it now, Joe. Thank you so much for coming on BBC Radio Shropshire. We wish you all the best luck, and of course, we can't wait to see you on stage again once this terrible situation is over.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Cheers for having us.
Joe McElderry joining me a little bit earlier on BBC Radio Shropshire. Lovely, lovely guy.
Wheels spin, foot upon the gas, release my runaway heart. Shots down, remembering how to laugh, gonna tear this joint apart. Fingers through my hair as the sweat runs down, gonna dance like Prince till I shake this out. Won't stop banging my drum, gonna paint this town tonight. Rinse every tear from my eyes, keep it moving till I feel alright. Baby, had you fun and you broke my heart, but you won't break me, no you won't tear me apart. You said don't worry my love, as you spun another narcissist life. I sense more than you know, and I could see your wandering eye. Turning it around, put it all on me. Blew dust in my face till I felt crazy. Won't stop banging my drum, gonna paint this town tonight. Rinse every tear from my eyes, keep it moving till I feel alright. Baby, had you fun and you broke my heart, but you won't break me, no you won't tear me apart. Can't tear me apart. Can't tear me apart. Fingers through my hair as the sweat runs down, gonna dance like Prince till I shake this out. Won't stop banging my drum, gonna paint this town tonight. Rinse every tear from my eyes, keep it moving till I feel